Good morning, beautiful people. I'm sorry about my April Fool's joke yesterday. Well, sorry, not sorry. Lots of you enjoyed it. Some of you didn't fall for it. Nearly got you. Maybe I'll get you next year. Before we get started, if you remember this little bundle of fluff that I showed you when I reached 100,000 subscribers back on 12th or 13th of January of this year, well, this is how big she's got now. Say hello. So anyway, welcome back to the channel. Today I thought I would just clear up because some people are still confused about the concept, notion and term of pressing charges. Now in the United Kingdom, it is a common misconception that people think that they can press charges against someone who's committed a crime or a perpetrator against them as the victim of a crime, but that is simply not how it works in this country. Some people have confused this idea with a private prosecution, which I'll come back to in a moment, but there is no such thing as pressing charges in the United Kingdom. So I just wanted to make that clear. However, victims do quite rightly play a central role in the evidence of a case where the CPS will decide to prosecute. But it is the decision of the CPS to prosecute on behalf of the Crown because the CPS is the official prosecutorial body. Now, the police's job, actually duty, is to investigate, to gather and collect evidence and to present that evidence to the CPS where there is a genuine belief that a crime has occurred. The CPS then review the case and the CPS will make the decision to prosecute or not. So just to be absolutely clear, even if the victim or complainant of a crime or an attack doesn't want to proceed to give evidence, the CPS can still prosecute, let's say, abusers without the support or indeed direct involvement of a victim of that crime. This is often referred to as an evidence-led prosecution. For example, if there is absolutely crystal clear CCTV footage. Yes, I know I've had some videos where the police didn't follow up on CCTV, so that sounds somewhat contradictory. But if there is a serious crime and there is CCTV evidence and other evidence that is absolutely concrete evidence of a crime taking place and who did it, who done it, then the CPS can take that decision to prosecute irrespective of whether the victim or complainant of said crime takes part in the prosecution. Now, just to clarify the difference between this, which is a normal prosecution, and a private prosecution. Private prosecutions can be brought either by an individual or a corporation. Think Royal Mail. If they have someone stealing their mail, then they bring private prosecutions against their own staff if they are stealing the mail, because after all it brings a bad name to Royal Mail and they don't want it happening. So Royal Mail can and sometimes do prosecute their own staff for stealing mail. Very often they will plead guilty, sometimes they'll plead not guilty, but either way, Royal Mail will usually have evidence that they've committed that offence and they bring their own prosecution against said individuals. Equally, as an individual, if you wanted to bring your own private prosecution against someone else because they've committed a crime and you have sufficient evidence that they have done so, you can produce an information which sets out the offence and what you believe they have done and lay it before a magistrate. Obviously within requisite timeframes and in the right format and so on. The big caveat with this, however, is that if you get it wrong, there can be significant and serious consequences. Mainly in terms of costs, because if you get it desperately wrong, you could have an adverse costs order against you for thousands, tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of pounds for getting the prosecution wrong in the first place. Even if you have laid the information before the magistrates and the magistrates have approved the prosecution to go forward, if for some reason later down the line it turns out that you really shouldn't have brought this prosecution in the first place, think a company prosecuting another company or a person prosecuting a company, let's say for offences under the Companies Act, because the Companies Act 2006 does provide for certain offences that companies and its directors can commit. But if you get all of that wrong, the company or the other individual can sue you for significant damages for getting it wrong. This is why I always say that you should take formal legal advice in all situations before you commence on this path, because it is a long and arduous path that if you get it wrong, it can have significant consequences for you. And on that note, someone did say in one of the comments, how is it that you can't take what I say because I'm a barrister as advice on this channel? Well, it is just commentary. When I say that it's commentary, when I say that it's guidance, that's all that it is. Because I am not sitting down with you in conference and I don't have the opportunity to ask you questions and delve into the detail and quiz you about all sorts of things and then advise you on individual circumstances, because I don't have that opportunity, it cannot be advice. And not least of which, you're not instructing me and there's no contract between us. But I hope that serves to clarify some of the questions that have come in the comments. And in the meantime, thank you for watching.